Round 2 of the 2026 season brought the F1 circus to China and the first sprint weekend of the season. There was plenty of action in the only practice session ahead of sprint qualifying this afternoon. It was a frantic start to the session for Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton, who found himself making contact with the new world champion Lando Norris.
Lewis is backing off. Lando's then thought, okay, maybe he's got an issue, and he's locked up. I think there was contact. I think the right front did just hit the side pod area of the Ferrari.
That was then followed by a spin at turn 6.
For Hamilton, it looked like he was hammering the brake pedal, still attacking that hard, cold tyres, with way less downforce than he was expecting as the rear wing was still shutting. So a little bit like you'd have DRS sometimes staying open, or you'd have the occasional incident in yesteryear. I wonder if that one for Hamilton is simply the downforce not attaching back to the Ferrari quick enough.
Brakes locked up.
Despite their practice dramas, there was a return for Ferrari's rotating rear wing, only briefly seen at pre-season testing last month. Time will tell if this mechanism is one that can help the team in red this season, having already excelled in Australia with Charles Leclerc's impressive start, allowing the Monegasque to lead 23 laps. But a call not to pit under the virtual safety car ultimately left the Ferrari man out of the mix for the win. Franco Colapinto was another to test the limits early on, the Argentinian rotating 180 degrees, approaching turn 9.
Grip level very low, but that rear axle is locked solid as he's just tickled the brake really, and it's not a stamp coming into 9. You're coming through the right-hander of 8, bringing it back. It's a bit bumpy, cold tyres, and that rear axle was ready to lock as soon as he hit the left pedal.
Franco Colapinto later encountering an issue. His Alpine conking out as he rolled down the pit lane with 15 minutes to go.
So he's totally lost drive, gone into neutral, and you can see total confusion from the McLaren team on the right-hand side as well.
Haas's Ollie Bearman was another to rotate in FP1, the Brit spinning his 2026 challenger as the session came to a close. A breathtaking debut weekend in Formula 1 saw Arvid Lindblad getting the better of his more experienced rivals to claim P8. But in China, the 18-year-old lasted only a quarter of an hour before his racing balls was forced to stop out on track.
That grey, smoky, steaming stuff is, well, that's not good, and that suggests that the low-pressure air of the cockpit is drawing in something quite significant that's gone pop or bang. You can hear the engine running, so I wonder if there's a transmission fault or a line's blown off something.
But there was optimism for the Italian squad as Liam Lawson set the 11th fastest time in FP1. Lando Norris got to grips with his car as he drifted through the opening corners at the Shanghai International Circuit.
This is where the first part of the pain kicks in for that front left, and a swap of oversteer there for Lando. Plenty of runoff on the outside. As you can see, rear end saying no. A slight lock-up for the front right as well.
He would soon be followed by teammate Oscar Piastri, who would take the very same trip beyond the boundaries later on.
Oscar, both cars have had that snap quite regularly.
The Australian's home race was over before it had even started, the 24-year-old crashing out during his reconnaissance lap to the grid. So just like 2025, the McLaren man will hope that China is kinder to him, having claimed pole before winning here 12 months ago. Once again, Mercedes looked the team to beat in China, George Russell leading home Kimi Antonelli by 1/10 of a second in practice. Russell got the better of Leclerc in Australia, an epic tussle eventually going the Brits' way after a call by Mercedes to pit under virtual safety car. And Antonelli had fought back from a bad start to finish within 3 seconds of teammate Russell at the front. The young Italian can become the second youngest winner in Formula 1 should he grace the top step of the rostrum this season. Elsewhere, McLaren looked quick, the Woking-based squad just over half a second off Mercedes at the top, as Ferrari cement themselves as one of the top 3 teams despite a gap of nearly a second to Russell. Further down, Haas are again in the mix, the American squad hoping to repeat their performance in Australia, which saw a mix of superb race pace and excellent strategy to allow Ollie Bearman to finish best of the rest, the Brit climbing from 12th to finish 7th in Melbourne. And Max Verstappen can never be counted out. The Dutchman excelled to climb from 20th to 6th in Australia, setting the fastest lap in the process, and set the 8th quickest time in practice ahead of sprint qualifying in China. So it's Russell fastest from Antonelli, Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton and Bearman, as Verstappen, Nico Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly round out the top 10. 11th for Lawson from Bortoleto, Hadjar, Ocon, Colapinto, Albon and Sainz. Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, Lindblad and Perez round out the runners.